Hi, all Mojang Lives. I think it's time we play a little Better Than Wolves. Alright. Maybe this time I can get through an episode. It has been a keep getting interrupted kind of day. Well, it's not just that. It's also really wanted to talk about Dune, the new movie, and was struggling not to have big long hour-long conversations about it in this particular video I've been trying to record. Uh, but hey, maybe this time I'll get through at a reasonable amount without interruptions, because it hasn't just been that. I also people talking to me, phone kept ringing, the email went off like 15 times in a row, and I finally just shut it down. Bunch of messages on Discord. You know, it's just been one of those days. But yeah, I probably am going to end up talking a little bit about Dune. I will try not to get too crazy about it. But I've been working around the base here. I ran a bunch of food through. I think 3 days of eggs have made it into the pot while I've been talking. I should have. Oh no. Oh no. Dang it. This is what happens. I put some bread in there and then got talked to and totally forgot about the bread. I ruined my bread. I was finally getting to the point where I had bread. Alright, I'm gonna let that grind. It's almost nighttime here. I don't have any food on me. I guess we could run out to the trades. And we'll do a quick trade. Yep. Because he wants diamond boots this time. Because I've been doing a lot of trades today. I had some issues with the spawns in the Nether. I don't know what has happened, but the Nether has decided that it needs to spawn things in an area that they weren't spawning before. So my previous attempt to record an episode involved a lot of making cement. So my hopes are that I will no longer get spawns of wither skeletons dropping out of the area onto my head and attacking me from up in here. I don't think they can spawn on the cobblestone. I'm kind of surprised I don't see them in this hallway here, to be fair, but maybe they'll stay gone. I finally got this filled in over here. Keep stuff out. Yeah, the new Dune movie. The problem is I wanted to really talk about it, and to really talk about it, I feel the need to give background information, and there's just too much background information to fit into a regular episode here. I liked it. I liked the new movie. I don't think it's as good as it should have been, though. It is lacking quite a bit in lore and some of the choices have left out the connectors, I feel, to things that I don't understand how they're going to go without. Spoilers. I have to do some spoilers here. A lot of lore has not made it into this new Dune movie that I feel detracts from the epic storyline. And they just kind of leave out why this stuff is happening, just that it's happening. And I didn't like that. Um, but one of the scenes is different between the old movie and the new movie. And I do know there is a book series. I've read the book series multiple times. It's been a while, so I am gonna have to reread the book series. Not the whole series, but at least the initial book or part of the book, so I can compare it in my head to the movie I just watched. Well, I didn't just watched earlier this morning. But I know that in the old movie and the new movie, one of the differences is one of my favorite parts in the old movie is not in the new movie, sort of. And I was very disappointed that they opted to change how that scene played out. Because there are some. I saw you guys. I saw those squid hanging out right next to that, and I'm glad they didn't grab me while I ran through. Oh crap! Uh, is that a beast or is that just a poorly lighted wolf? Hey, buddy, you want some? Crap! It's a beast. Run in, run in, run in, run in. Run in, run in, run in, run in. You think he's still chasing me? Nope. Okay. But look at the scene where um, the see again. If you've never seen Dune, this won't make any sense. There's a pseudo-religious order, I guess, some slight background here, called the Bene Gesserit. And they... oh no, I have to give up a Vessel of the Dragon to get you to level 3? That seems awful. I don't want to give up my Vessel of the Dragon. I don't think I have more than one of those. Should I attempt to make the run back in the dark and the rain? I think I will. And the Reverend Mother comes to, they're kind of like a nun order. It's not Catholic, but it's reminds me of it a little bit. And they come to test the main character because he has powers he's not supposed to have. There's 2 of them. And so, which is all tied up in the story and a lot of the lore that they leave out of the new movie, which was weird that you would leave out so much lore that involved the main plot points to me. But anyways, and so to do that, they take and she holds a needle filled with poison to his neck called the Gam Jabbar. And he has to keep his hand in a box that makes him feel like his hand is being burnt off. It's not, but it feels like it is. And so the point is that he will use his willpower and intellect to overcome his instinct to yank his hand back out of the box. And so she makes a comment that the poison only kills animals. The poison is deadly. You know, it will kill whoever she sticks it with, but she's only plans on killing him if he can't control himself because he's got all this power. Not yet, but he will have all this power. She believes, and they can't let him be free with the power and the inability to control himself. So that's why they test him. And so she says, you know, that the poison will only kill animals, and he says, in the old movie, I don't know if it's in the book, but it's in the old movie. Do you infer that the Duke's son is an animal? And she says, no, I infer that he might be human. And I just love that moment in the first movie, or in the old movie. There's like two old movies, but the 1984 David Lynch movie is the one I refer to as the old movie. And this was one of my favorite parts. I love the Gom Jabbar scene. It's one of my favorite parts, and is different in the new one. And they talk about him being tested and why he's being tested, but they do it after the fact and not while they're sitting there. They also the Lynch movie has him do the "Fear is the mind killer" speech while he's being tested. And I don't remember what it's like in the book, but in this new movie, just his mother says it. I don't think he said it once. He might have said it once, but he didn't do the speech like he does in his head in the Lynch movie. So I was disappointed by that. Because who cares if his mother is able to overcome her fears? It's not a story about her directly. I mean, she's got some parts to it, but it's not about her. It's about him. He's the one who needs to be showing that he has the training and is able to overcome his fears. So that was weird. It's a weird choice. I've got one Vessel the Dragon. Dang it. I've never installed another one. I was going to. Did I install one? I was going to put one down in my chicken farm area at one point. Did that not happen? Also, I thought I had fixed my path over here today. I did. It's right here. Let me go look. And so, and then they did some movie tricks I don't care for, which is weird that they did the tricks at all. Yeah, I don't have a way down there, so I don't think I installed one. They did the thing where they act like something is going to happen, but then they cut the camera away so you don't actually get to see it happen. Which is a weird choice in a movie about a war between two houses to then go and not have the two houses fight each other on screen very much. They show these big armies all lined up and then don't have the armies fight each other. I don't know what to do with this straw, so I've just been feeding it to the cow. And so they do the thing where they've got like two groups of people, but it's not very many people, and they go running toward each other like they're gonna fight each other. And then just before they get to each other, there's an explosion that covers the camera. Not that they're exploding, just that an explosion happens closer to the camera than the people are, so you can't see them, and then it cuts to a different scene. And I'm like, really? You're not even gonna have them clash into each other in a movie about war? You're not going to show them fighting? And then they switch to an even smaller group of people fighting each other. And I'm like, oh, man. you do know you're about war, right? You do know that's like a major, like how is this going to play out in future movies if you get sequels? Because I'm not sure they'll get sequels. I don't know if they started filming the next movie before this one comes out, because I don't know if this movie will be popular enough to warrant a sequel. Um, and then um, most of the rest of it was okay. It's a little sedated for what's going on, and like I said, they don't do a lot of exposition on why things are happening. Showing me that two groups are fighting is fine, but it would be nice if I knew why. I mean, I know why because I've seen the movies multiple times, I've read the books multiple times. I know what's happening, but someone who's not familiar with any of it is not going to have any clue why these two groups are fighting each other. And I I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I don't think they said why the Emperor cares that these two ducal houses are fighting each other. And that's a weird thing to leave out of your movie when that's what it's about to start with. I mean, it snowballs from there because, uh, they're not aware of Paul's powers that he's not supposed to have, but Paul being the main character. And so that's, it's weird to leave out information like that. One of the things that's in the old movie that I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure it's in the book. I'm not sure how they played it out in the book versus the old movie. That is nowhere to be seen in the new movie is the fact that one of the characters that the Paul uh, is like one of his favorite teachers and trainers is a musician, which plays into a scene that was not in the movie, but is a scene that I think has to happen in the next movie, and I'm not sure why it wasn't the end of this movie. Um, but it's not important that they didn't show that Gurney is a musician. I think they can get away with that fine. Um, and so maybe that's just they don't see, you're not evil in the daytime. Okay, so you're not bad wolves. You're just bad at night wolves. That's fine. And there were two of you. Where'd the other one go? Because one was running over here. There you are. Nope, that's a spider web. Never mind. That is a spider web. So, yeah, so we get to the end of the movie, and this is a big spoiler for the end of the movie. So the movie is supposed to be part one. So there's supposed to be sequels. I say supposed to be because I don't know that it will be popular enough to get a sequel, because they're very oddly particular when it comes to that stuff. What gets a sequel and what doesn't drives me crazy sometimes. They act like something didn't earn a sequel. Two zombie heads. All right. They act like something didn't deserve a sequel, or something, yeah, didn't earn its sequel. When in reality, it did fine. But the critics are like, we hate this movie, and therefore it doesn't get a sequel. Case in point, oh, I forgot the name of the film all of a sudden. Pacific Rim made a ton of money. A ton. Way more than it cost to make the film. But it didn't make $1 billion. And so all the news articles called it a flop. And I'm like, why does it need to make $1 billion? It like more than doubled the cost to make it. I mean, we're talking millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars it made. What do you mean it's a flop? Why are you calling it a flop? Of course, I'm probably wrong. People are probably going to love this movie. I just feel it's way shallower than the book or the David Lynch movie, I guess. I liked it. It leaves out some weird things. Space travel is left out in the book. Or not in the book, in the new movie. They show spacecraft in space, and they show them at one planet, and then they show them at the next planet, but they don't show any travel in between. They don't really show ships landing necessarily most of the time or anything like that, which was a big thing in the old movie, how they space travel and stuff. But then the final scene in the movie, the choice for where we end, was an odd choice to me. So this is why this turned into such multiple giant episode kind of recording that I was trying to get away from. Was trying not to give too much background information while telling what happened. So there's a group on the planet called the Fremen, and the Paul's father wants to create an army capable of fighting back against the Emperor's army. Not because necessarily he wants to take over, but because he wants to be capable of defending himself against the Emperor. And so he has had his soldiers trained in ways that most people don't have their soldiers trained. And so they are considered one of the elite fighting forces in the galaxy. But they are not as powerful as the Sardaukar of the Emperor. And so once he's given the opportunity to go to Arrakis and run Arrakis for the Emperor, he believes this is his chance to acquire a fighting force of the Fremen, who are super powerful fighters. Because the idea in the books is kind of a Nietzschean idea of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so the Sardaukar are raised on, I believe they call it a hell world. And I believe they're murderer, like criminal types that are turned into zealot fighters for the Emperor. Where only the most powerful fighter survives, kind of thing. And that's why they're so strong fighters, because they live in a way where they have to fight to stay alive. And so the Fremen are kind of the same way, but they live on Arrakis. God made Arrakis to test the faithful, kind of thing. And so that's what they're there for. Or that's not what they're there for, but they get sent by the Emperor. But that's what Paul's father, Duke Leto, would like to happen. And so I feel like I should just take heads. Because they're going to want heads. So I'm just going to take all the heads I have access to, just in case he asks for the heads the next time as well. So so all that's going on, and then there's like this thing where they show up, and the Fremen, they okay. the Harkonnen show up, which are the Atreides enemies, and under command of the Emperor, basically, and attack the Atreides and wipe them out. And so Paul and his mother escape into the desert. Oh, and wind up with the Fremen. Now, the Fremen live on a desert world that has very little water, and they have a whole religion of their own that deals with water somewhat, and they live a life where any loss of water is like the worst thing that can happen. Like, if they meet someone they want to show honor to, they will spit on the ground, wasting water to show that that person is worth more than water. Like, it's that important to them. And so, so there's the ending scene of this movie is they're like, you know, you broke my honor, we must fight to the death kind of people. And so one of the Fremen fighters gets knocked down by Paul and takes offense to it in the old movie and the new movie. And the book might be a little different about exactly how it goes down, but either way, however it happens, Paul fights this guy. Paul enters the fight not being aware that it's to the death. Paul has never killed anybody. And so while they're fighting, Paul tries to get the guy to yield, which of course infringes upon his honor because it's supposed to be the death, but Paul doesn't know it, and so they're like, he doesn't know it. And so they fight, and Paul wins. I mean, obviously, Paul's going to win a fight to the death in the movie where he's the main character, and it's the beginning of the movie, or the beginning of the story, right? So in the new movie, after Paul wins the fight, his mother goes there. Now he's won, and Stilgar, who's the leader of the Fremen for this particular group, says, no, he belongs to us now. A life for life is our rule. And so she says, well, okay, but we need to get to Caladan, which is their home planet. And Paul says, no, my father brought us here for the Fremen. My road leads deeper into the desert. And then they walk to the edge of the cliff that they're standing on, and they look out over the desert, and there's a Fremen riding the back of a sandworm, which is a big thing in the books, movies. And Paul says, there you go, desert power. And then that was the end of the movie. And I'm like, what? Like, I get you have to end the movie, but you do know, you are aware of how important the associated scene with this fight is. Why is the associated scene not your final scene? Like, what is the point of not having Paul receive his Siege name? Siege being their cities, kind of, for the Fremen. His, private name that is not used by anyone who isn't a member of his tribe. Why is that not the moment that ends your movie if the whole thing for Paul is about getting in with the Fremen? That should have been your final scene, not, oh, look, Mom, a guy on a, oh, dude, candle, right. I should have known you were going to do that. Ooh, let's get sell some skulls for money, I guess. I gotta make red candles now. Dang it. What do I gotta do to make a candle? I don't remember. Candle. I feel like it's probably stuff I don't want to. I don't want to part with. Tallow, right? I don't do well with tallow because uh, tallow is cooked meat. You want me to cook? I can cook meat. That's not a big deal. I can cook some, not mystery meat, but I can cook some chicken. You do it for chicken? You don't do it for chicken. There's no tallow from chicken. Mutton, huh? Well, maybe I can get some mutton. I don't know if I got any mutton back at home. Oh, it's just nighttime, too. I'm not sure I want to attempt to run back. We'll do it. We'll do it. And, so it's weird that they wouldn't go to the next scene, which is the funeral rite for that dude. And then at the funeral rite is when he gets his name. And it's also this big moment where he cries. Which I know is a weird thing to be a big moment, I guess, for a story like this, but he's never killed someone before, and so the funeral itself is overwhelming to him. I'm like, sure, okay, people cry. I'm not a crier. It's not a thing for me, and so emotions. And but it's this huge moment because to these people, any water is so important that they pull the water from their dead because water is so precious on their planet. And for him to give up water like this, they don't cry. Fremen don't cry because it's a waste of water. And for him to cry over them, it's a scene they steal directly for the Wheel of Time series that's coming out. The Wheel of Time, off topic slightly here, real quick. The Wheel of Time steals a lot of Dune for one of the books. I'm not gonna lie. Love the Wheel of Time, but the ale are the Fremen, and they do some of the same things in the section of the book where in the ale waste in the Wheel of Time as happens in Dune. And one was written in the 90s, one was written in the 60s. Guess which one came first? So it's such a big deal, and it's also the same scene where he gets his siege name. I don't understand why that's not the moment, because that's where they start to become in awe of him. And so it's going to be, if they have the funeral scene at all, it's going to be such a weird, way to start your next film instead of having it be the ending of the previous film, because that's where he becomes part of the tribe. That's where the next film should be his training and stuff, not start with a funeral for the guy he killed at the end of the previous movie. If they even do the funeral scene. I don't know if they're going to do the funeral scene. I mean, I don't know how they're doing this. And I could see them leaving it out because the funeral itself isn't such a big deal. But the loss of the scene where he sheds tears for the dead is a big deal to me anyways. That detracts from how the Muad'Dib legend begins. And because that's where he gets named Usul. It's where he picks his public name, Muad'Dib. It's just weird to end the movie at, oh look, desert power, instead of ending the movie at, you know, he he sheds water for the dead, and his name is Usul and Muad'Dib, uh, or however they're going to pronounce it in this, because they did change the pronunciation on a lot of words from the old movie to the new one. But yeah, it's I do have some cooked mutton. How do I tallow up? Oh, because it's got to be in the stoked. Um, I got so much junk in my inventory. Get out of here. I need some mutton. 1, 2, 3. I need that turned into tallow. Okay. This is a stoked cauldron. Not a stoked cauldron? Stoked cauldron. Yes. Oh, but it's 4 per. Oh. Yeah, not 1 per. That's why I hate tallow. 4 per, and I need 3, so let me get 12. And, but yeah, see, I wasn't going to talk about Dune, and then all I did was talk about Dune. Yep. So anyways, it was a good movie. It's a little shallower than I expected. I definitely don't understand some of the choices to leave out visual things in a visual media, um, like they seem to like to do sometimes. But yeah, hopefully they get their sequels and I can see where they go with this. Oh, also, I don't like the design of their new worms. It's weird. Uh, it's weird. But yeah, be better than small things, lean in the light. I will talk to you later.